All right, let's dive into the future, shall we? Local courier services in 2025. We're breaking down this article, The Benefits of Local Courier Services for Businesses in 2025. Just for you.
And it's more relevant than ever.
Absolutely.
Everyone wants things faster, and supporting local is huge right now.
It's this whole trend, and this article really gets into the why, not just the what.
Exactly. It's like this perfect storm. Consumers want same-day delivery, they want that personalized touch, and supporting local businesses. That's a cherry on top.
So local couriers are right in the sweet spot, and the article really digs into their advantages. One of the biggest, customer satisfaction.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Way beyond just speedy delivery, right?
The article mentions this case study in Boston. Local couriers had like 20% higher customer satisfaction ratings than the big guys. They're hyper-local.
Hyper-local, meaning?
They know the city inside and out. Not just GPS, but like where that tricky side street is when the farmer's market blocks that one road. They're in the know.
Makes sense. The article also talks about how they build relationships, not just drop-off packages.
It's true. They remember if you like it left by the side door or need a signature, things the big guys can't always do.
That personal touch. The article actually quotes some business owners raving about local couriers, like bending over backwards, accommodating weird delivery times, handling fragile stuff super carefully, just going above and beyond.
And that flexibility is gold. Need it delivered at a precise time? Done. Change the drop-off last minute. No problem.
Perfect for today's crazy pace. So we know they keep customers happy, but how do they actually make these speedy deliveries happen? The article talks about their efficiency.
It boils down to they're experts in their area. Like literally. The article talks about this route optimization software they use. It factors in traffic, construction, even little local events.
Wow, that's high tech.
But also they know those back alleys, the shortcuts. It's like a secret map.
They're also just leaner, right? Less bureaucracy than the huge companies.
Oh, way less. Less processing time, fewer handoffs. Pick up a package, deliver it, boom, done.
Makes those same-day and on-demand services possible.
Exactly. Like, gotta get something across town. ASAP. Local courier's your best bet.
So, happy customers, speedy deliveries. But what about their impact on the community? It's bigger than just packages, right?
Oh, for sure. The article talks about job creation, drivers, dispatchers, customer service folks, even like tech people for the logistics side.
It keeps money local.
Definitely. Stronger local economy.
And it's not just the money. They're sponsoring local events, part of neighborhood stuff.
They become familiar faces, part of the fabric, not just some faceless corporation.
That human touch makes a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk cost. Are local couriers actually affordable for businesses?
Surprisingly, yeah. Especially if you're doing mostly local deliveries. The article says their costs are lower because they're so efficient.
Makes sense.
And lots of them offer bulk discounts if you're shipping regularly.
So you save even more. The article also mentions less need for crazy packaging, since it's not going across the country.
True. So less waste, too.
No, what about reliability? How do they make sure those packages get where they need to be, safely and on time?
This is where that local connection is key. Their reputation matters. It's their name on the line, their livelihood.
They're invested in the community.
Exactly. And they're usually super easy to get in touch with. Call a dispatcher, sometimes even the driver directly.
That's reassuring. Okay, last thing. Sustainability. How are local couriers doing on that front?
They're actually naturals at it. Shorter routes mean less fuel, fewer emissions. Many are switching to electric vehicles, too.
Going green.
And their whole focus on efficiency means less traffic on the roads.
So they're good for the planet and good for getting around.
And a lot of them are involved in, like, community recycling programs or supporting local green initiatives. They walk the walk.
It all ties together.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. Customer satisfaction, the economy, sustainability. Clearly, local couriers are a big deal.
And getting bigger.
But how will they adapt to what's coming next? The business world never stands still.
That's the million-dollar question, and the article digs into it. Basically, it says local couriers are really good at adapting. They're nimble.
They can adjust on the fly.
Exactly. Whether it's changing their services, expanding where they deliver, adopting new tech, they're not stuck in their ways.
And the article says they're really tuned into local trends.
They're right there in the community, seeing what people want, what's changing. That gives them an edge.
They're like local experts, in more ways than one. But even with all that, there are going to be challenges.
Of course. The article talks about things like, how do they grow without losing that personal touch? How do they find good workers when everyone's hiring? And then there's all the new regulations, especially with new technologies coming out.
There's a lot to juggle.
Oh, yeah. Data security and privacy are big concerns too.
Yeah.
They're handling more and more sensitive info.
So they've got to be smart about how they grow.
Absolutely. The article says a lot of them are already doing things like training their employees really well, partnering with local tech companies, and even talking to the people making the regulations. They're being proactive.
They're not just waiting for the future to happen, they're shaping it.
Exactly. And the article ends on a pretty positive note. It says that even with the challenges, local couriers are in a good spot to not just survive, but really thrive in the coming years.
That's good news. So we've gone over the benefits they offer now and their potential impact on the future. What are some of the big takeaways for our listeners?
What stands out to me is this isn't just about delivering stuff. It's about community. Local couriers are making the whole experience more personal, more sustainable, more connected to the places they work.
They're proving that business can be a force for good, not just profits.
Exactly. It's a reminder that where we spend our money matters. Supporting local businesses can make a real difference.
It all adds up. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the first part of this article. We've learned a lot about what local couriers are doing and what they're capable of.
It's been eye-opening. And there's more to come. In the next part, we'll look at how local couriers are going to change the game even more as we head into 2025 and beyond.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. So, we've seen how adaptable these local couriers are.
And that's got to be key, right? The world's changing so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about all those advantages they have now, but what about the future? How do they stay relevant, maybe even become more important as we head into 2025 and beyond?
Good question. That's where this article gets really interesting. It talks about some trends that could make local couriers even more essential.
Like, imagine same-day delivery becoming the norm, not the exception, and everyone wanting that personalized, sustainable touch.
The article argues that local couriers are actually perfectly set up for that kind of world. They're already doing it.
Exactly. And then think about how technology could boost them even more. The article talks about drones, delivering to places that are hard to get to.
Drones, huh?
Yeah. And self-driving vehicles zipping around the city.
Like, those are still kind of sci-fi, right?
They are, but they're getting closer all the time. And the article says local couriers, they're small, and they understand their areas so well, they could be the ones who actually make those technologies work for people.
It's like they're the bridge between the super high-tech stuff and everyday life.
Exactly. But it's not just about the fancy tech. It's about knowing each community, what they need, what their problems are, stuff that big companies might miss.
The article really emphasizes that local knowledge.
It's what lets them anticipate what's coming, find new opportunities, tailor their services in a way that, like, a national company just couldn't.
They're the local experts in every sense. The article actually quotes this logistics expert. He says, local couriers will be crucial in what he calls the hyper-local revolution. Right, it's like everything becoming more local, more personalized, more connected.
And local couriers are right at the heart of that.
Leading the charge. But of course, there are always challenges.
Right. The article talks about those too. Like, how do they grow without losing that personal touch? How do they find good people to hire when everyone's looking for workers? And then keeping up with all the new regulations.
Especially as those new technologies come into play.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole other ball game. And the article mentions data security and privacy, super important, especially as they handle more and more sensitive information.
Sounds like they've got a lot on their plate.
They do, but the article says a lot of local courier companies are already thinking ahead, investing in training their people, working with local tech startups, even talking to the regulators.
So they're not just sitting back and waiting to see what happens.
No way. They're out there making it happen. And the article ends on a pretty optimistic note. It says that even with all the challenges, local courier services are in a good position to not just survive, but really thrive in the future.
That's encouraging. So, we've covered their benefits now, their potential impact down the line. What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
What I think is most interesting is it's not just about logistics, it's about community.
Yeah.
Local couriers are changing the whole delivery experience, making it more personal, more sustainable, more tied to the communities they work in.
It's like they're proving business can be done differently, with a positive impact.
Right. And it reminds us that our choices matter. Supporting local businesses can make things better for everyone.
It's about thinking bigger than just the bottom line. This conversation isn't over, though. In the last part of our deep dive, we're going to look at a really interesting trend that's popping up in the local courier world. Stick with us. We're back, and ready to wrap up our deep dive into local courier services.
We've talked about their impact on customers, the local economy, their role in the future of deliveries.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, but there's one more trend the article brings up. It's really fascinating.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's the rise of what they call boutique local courier services.
Boutique couriers. I like the sound of that already.
It's all about specialization. Think of couriers that focus on specific niches, really cater to those needs.
So instead of one size fits all, it's more like tailor-made delivery.
Exactly. The article gives some great examples, like a bakery that uses a courier who specializes in, transporting fresh baked goods.
So the cookies arrive still warm.
Exactly. Or a vintage clothing store that uses a courier who knows how to handle delicate fabrics.
It's not just about getting it there, it's about getting it there right.
That's the idea. It's about creating a better experience for the customer, one that really fits with the business and its values.
I can see how that would appeal to a lot of businesses, especially as people want more personalized experiences.
Absolutely. The article suggests this boutique approach could be a big deal for businesses that want to stand out, create something memorable for their customers.
It's like going the extra mile, literally.
And it all ties back to that sense of community. These boutique couriers, they often build strong relationships with the businesses they work with. It creates this web of collaboration, everyone supporting each other.
It's like a local ecosystem working together.
Exactly. It's inspiring to see how these local courier services, they're not just reacting to changes, they're shaping the whole industry, pushing the limits of speed, personalization, sustainability.
They're leading the way.
But,
so we've reached the end of our deep dive. What are the key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind?
well, I think the big one is local courier services are more than just a trend. They're part of a bigger shift towards doing business in a way that's more local, more personal, more sustainable.
They're showing us that success doesn't have to mean sacrificing our values.
Exactly. They're proving it's possible to build a business that's good for the community, good for the environment.
It's about making choices that reflect what we believe in.
The article encourages people to, the next time you need something delivered, think about choosing a local courier. You might be surprised at the difference it makes.
It's about supporting the businesses that are doing things the right way.
And in a world that's so digital, so automated, it's about remembering the human connection. Local couriers, they remind us that behind every delivery, there's a person, a story, a community.
It's about bringing it back to the local level. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of local courier services.
It's been a fascinating look at an industry that's really changing things up.
We hope you found it informative and maybe even a little inspiring.
Definitely. And we can't wait to see what the future holds for these local businesses.
Thanks for listening.